Welcome back to the channel for another tactical preview. We've got the South Coast Derby this weekend, and I'm joined by Ollie Barnett, Saints fan, of course. We're going to be talking about how Bournemouth could win, or more controversially, some might say, how Saints could win or get a draw and derail our European charge potentially, which I'm a little bit scared for, But firstly, if you can just subscribe down below, that would help me out massively. And I'll put Ollie's links all in the description. So, what, TikTok? Are you on YouTube or not?
No, I'm not. I'm just on TikTok.
Yeah, all right. So check out his TikTok. Loads of great content, footy, even like music and clothes and stuff like that. It's not all Southampton guys, don't worry. Just go and
Do
check
that
them
for
out.
myself.
We'll get straight into it. How Bournemouth can win, because I mean we are expected to win, but some people out there, in me in particular, might be a little bit worried that this could bring an end to our strong run of form. But yeah, anyway, basically talking about Southampton now. Your style of play. Talk to me about it. What is it quite different from Russell Martin, or?
There is a difference, as you can tell that the players are clearly enjoying playing this way a little bit more, but there's still so many negatives with the way we play. And under Russell Martin, we used to play it around the back so much, and pretty much all of our goals that we conceded this season with Russell Martin in charge, even going back to last season, was from purely us giving the opposition goals. The way it would be passing around the back when you don't need to, doing stupid passes in the middle. We never really kept the ball well, and that was his style, was possession. Now under Juric, we've found that it's a little bit different. They don't do that as much, but they still do hold on to it, and it is really frustrating. Sometimes we choose not to break through the lines, especially when you've got players on the wing like Diblin and Sulemana. You're not playing them to their strengths. But we did try it a bit more. It's getting a little bit better with the way we're playing, but still, there's quite a few negatives with it.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you know what we're like with our pressing. That could cause you some serious problems. The
Yeah.
only thing, I mean, we'll get onto it a bit later, but we're quite tired at the moment, so perhaps we won't like proper press you into the
Yeah.
ground, especially because I mean I know like you're still like try and be possession dominant, but it's not going to be the same as playing like a Man City or someone where we can like really have to run them into it. So we might give you a little bit of space there, just purely like not to tire our players out. I know we've got like, I think Sinisterra is meant to be back soon, maybe Alex Scott back soon, but we're really still on our bare bones.
Yeah.
So I think we could see a goal taking the ball off you, hopefully in your own third, but we'll see. You talked to me about the dressing room mess. I mean, your manager, it was a while ago, came in at least, but has he already lost it?
So something came out in the media a few days ago about Flynn Downs. Now, Flynn Downs was one of our key standout players last season. And it's come out that he tried to force a move in January and is not happy at the club, causing loads of attitude problems. Juric also said in that the dressing room is clearly, there's some people in it that basically have got some issues. So I think that was quite obvious that that's going to happen this season, with you being one of the worst Premier League sides of all time. The players are going to start losing it. They're going to fall out with each other. If you can't get a connection with them, you can see there's going to be many problems caused. And unfortunately, it looks like it's really starting to happen now after January, because players would have been trying to force moves. Flynn was the one that they spoke about. Don't know what he's going to do for the squad now, if there's going to be other problems, even in the players that are starting. It'll be very interesting to see if they can sort of get their heads back together.
Yeah, thing is as well, like, do you feel like you have many leaders in that squad, because it's so young, and like you lost like James Ward-Prowse a couple of years ago?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I can't really see anyone in that squad as a leader, which is really annoying. To be honest, the biggest leader is probably Ramsdale, and he's your goalkeeper. And I've always said you never really want your leader as your goalkeeper. He's right at the back. You want your leader right in the middle of midfield. I've always believed that. So unfortunately, again, I really like Fernandez. I think he's very talented. Is he a leader? No. Leslie is only on loan with us this season. He's decent. He is decent, but again, not a leader. We really do lack leadership in the squad, and I think it has proved this season. Especially, we can even go back to defence with Harwood Bellis and Bednarek. Now, Bednarek is our captain, but typically, he's only really our captain due to him being here as like the longest servant.
Yeah.
Harwood Bellis has not been at all what he should be, what was expected to be this season. and has not been a leader by any means. And you can see the reaction from both centre halves when we do concede a goal. They do love to throw a tantrum at the other players and can't take it for themselves. It gives to me an impression that they're not really leaders.
Yeah, honestly, I hate when players do that and just completely lose their heads when you concede it. It's so annoying as a fan, and we're probably the complete opposite at the moment. Like our dressing room is probably the strongest it's ever been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like obviously Iraola's, it's just to have like someone like that at your club, it gives you so much hope. And like even when we're losing, and we've come back from a lot of losing positions
yeah,
this season, like no one's going to be panicking, no one's going to be really worried. Whereas like if you're a goal down in 10 minutes, that I could see that really snowballing.
definitely.
But yeah, I mean we'll see what happens, and finally it's quite obvious, but the difference in quality in the squads. To be fair, I will say a lot of our players before Iraola came in, I wouldn't have said are like proper quality players. He's turned
Mm.
them into that. But in
Yes.
your squad, do you feel like you've lacked spending, or you've lost some quality players that you shouldn't have?
I don't really feel like we've lacked spending, which is really disappointing. And this is where it comes in with our ownership of all the problems going behind. Um, with Sport Republic, who currently do run us in terms of with all the transfers, they've spent, but on not what you want at all, not by any means Premier League standard. They seem to be in January they prioritised signing players for the youth team, which is really strange.
Yeah,
I feel really disappointed and let down by them, even for the past few seasons. Ever since they've been in, they really haven't done anything to sort of show to us that they really want us to be successful. And they're just signing youngsters that are unexperienced, and it sometimes does pay off, but you can sign like 15 players and one of them be good. That's no good to us. So, I feel like, again, Fernandez was a really, really good signing by us. I think he's very talented. He could go on to be a very, very good player. I really do hope we can keep him next year. But then again, you're looking at it, and Sulemana has actually come as one of our best players in recent games,
yeah,
which he has been horrific for us for years. He's our record signing as well. But we signed him like 3 years ago. So it's saying there one of your best players is someone that's finally come good after 3 years. And then Diblin obviously is homegrown. So with actual
yeah. True.
signing, it's not been good enough at all.
Yeah, I mean, what Howard? I know you just said he hasn't been up to scratch completely, but Howard
Mhm.
Bell has probably been one of your only few good signings. But yeah, I mean, when the quality gap is 100% going to be there this weekend, and
Yeah.
if you do get something, it's not going to be because you've played us off the park. I don't reckon. But yeah, the only thing you could say is like perhaps, as I said, about injuries off the bench, we don't really have any options. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, do you feel like you have anyone off the bench that could impact the game?
No, it is quite funny. We seem to laugh at our lineup every week when you look at your bench, and it's like, oh, that's sort of who we've got. We also let Adam Armstrong go to West Brom in
Yeah,
January to the end of the season, which is a bit weird to me because you know I don't think he'll be going back there next year, and he's going to be obviously important for us next season. But it seems that when we are starting Paul Onuachu a lot. But he didn't start against Ipswich. But he came on to wait. Did he actually? I could be wrong there. Oh yeah, Onuachu did start against Ipswich, which was again proving my point of him starting. Recently scoring that is good. Finally to see having a massive 6'7" target man up front. But from the bench, I do really believe our only standout player to me, who I really like. I know loads of other Saints fans do like him, but it's a bit of a torn topic because some people don't. But I think Cameron Archer is fantastic, and I think he is very talented, and he can be very good. I think he's going to be so important for us next season. Um, I feel bad for him because Juric is really clearly does not like him. He is not choosing to pick him at all. But he really is the only one that I could see coming off the bench and getting a goal. Apart from him, we really do lack on the bench. So I don't think your squad depth is going to affect this at all.
yeah. I just really don't understand why. Like Arch, I thought Archer's all right. I mean, we were linked
Mm.
with him as a Slanky
Yeah,
replacement, which I didn't think he was good enough to be a Slanky replacement.
no,
But I mean, I thought he'd be good enough to be starting for you. At least at this point, you want like he's not got massive Prem experience, but he's got like experience
yeah,
playing in
exactly.
the Premier League. At least like you think you'd want somebody like that, and he's somebody that in a big game like this, I feel like could, just get a goal to help you out. But yeah,
I
that must
agree.
be disappointing. But we'll give you the slight positives. We can try and make a stretch for, see if Southampton
Yeah.
can get something. I mean, momentum. So you won your last Premier League game, correct? Yeah, against Ipswich, and that's a
Yes,
massive game, isn't it?
exactly. And again, I know I'm clutching onto straws here by saying that, but I think for the amount of time that we went without a win since Everton at home was our last win, our only win of the season until Ipswich, I really do feel like we were waiting for it. We got really unlucky in some games, and then we got a few draws. We got a draw at Fulham, we got a draw at Brighton, which are good point. We ran Liverpool all the way till the end.
Yeah.
There was other scenarios in games as well where we very easily could have got something, but
The
we also
United
did.
game.
Yeah, the United game, as you say, that was again poor management from Juric, and that's the disappointing thing. We ran him till 82 minutes, and then on the substitutes, when you're holding on to a 1-0 lead at Old Trafford, he decides to bring on Will Smallbone, who's one of the weakest midfielders I've ever seen, and bringing off someone that was shining in that game. So that's what I mean with that. And I think that last win against Ipswich is really important for the squad morale. It's obviously disappointing that this weekend we did get knocked out to Burnley in the FA Cup. That might put a damper on it. But if you think about the league, and it wasn't our main starting lineup, so
Yeah.
I think
I
that
mean, you didn't need the extra games from the FA Cup anyway, really, did you?
no, exactly. It's always disappointing to go out of the cup as a fan, obviously, but in terms of the players, will it really affect them? Probably not. So hopefully they can hold on to that win at Ipswich and hope that that was a very good result.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point, it sounds rude, but I think Burnley probably are better than you at this point anyway.
I agree.
Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, momentum might be a stretch, but you have just won an absolutely massive game.
Hmm.
And as you say, like you haven't been playing awful in recent weeks. Like
No, we haven't.
you've at least had some goal threat. That second
Yeah,
half against Forest was unbelievable. Like it's honestly, the more I talk about it, the more I scare myself into it properly because I was just saying to my mates earlier, like I don't like supporting a team that are doing well because it makes me stress. It makes me like realize that the games actually matter. But
mate, I
yeah,
miss it. I miss it.
but yeah, we'll just scan over this one quickly because I suppose it's not that big of a thing. But I mean, your home record against us is decent. Obviously, we beat you when you got relegated the other year, but
Yes.
yeah, I mean, can you remember any like big games where you beat us at home?
I just remember since you came up to the Prem, I can't remember. I will need fact checking on this, but I believe that win when we went down was your first actually competitive win against us in the league in your history. I could be wrong with that, but I believe that was correct. I think you might have beaten us in the cup before at St Mary's, but actually at St Mary's, our record seems to be very good. I think you have got a few draws at our place, but more of the less of we seem to be that really annoying ground that you come to, and it can be a very tough game no matter how bad we are. But as we say, you did beat us on the last time that we did get relegated. Um, Again, and the squad that you had then that beat us and the squad that we had to now, you can tell is probably very different on both sides with your strengths and our weaknesses. So it may not play a massive role, but you never know, having that sort of record might loom a bit over the players, and you can see what it can bring for the game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was just one other loss at home in like 2019. I think Callum Wilson took it around the goalkeeper in the last minute to make it 3-1. But your point still stands, and I think that might be somewhat to do with how we view that as like a huge game
Yeah.
because we do sort of see it as a rivalry, whereas you definitely don't. But we'll see if that comes into play. And then very quickly before we have to go, the press out. We like to press, obviously, which does leave
Mhm.
us vulnerable sometimes to moves in the transitions. And with the injuries, the players are going to be tired. We've had the same 11 players playing for, I reckon, a good 4 or 5 games now. So they're going to be tired. We don't have the specific players on the pitch all the time that we want to be pressing. Like we
Yeah.
don't have our striker that used to press. We have a makeshift
Yes.
striker. Are you a team that can beat the press sometimes?
we're frustrating because we can, but then this is where our style of play comes into it, is we don't seem to counter on it, which is really annoying. We've had many occasions under Russell and even under Juric when you've caught a team out and it's like you can do them on the counter, you get it out wide and you're like, here we go, and then they slow it down and it's really annoying. You end up at square one again. But I think with how pressing you are could obviously be really dangerous for us, especially with the style we play. Like, this is why it would not shock me if you did ended up winning like 5 or 6-0 from how bad we can be when we keep onto the ball. If we just keep giving you goals, they'll just fly in because you will just get this momentum and it could ruin us. But this is where I put it in the positives because it could play in our favour. You don't have the time now with how you'll play. With your press, you're not going to have the time on the ball that you want to. So if you happen to do keep the ball as well, more than we'd want to, you could hope that you could maybe catch you out or beat that press, which is really hopeful, especially if we do start Sulemana, because we didn't against Ipswich. But when he came on, he instantly made an impact that did win us that game. So with his pace on the wing and Dibbling as well, I think they both could be massive, massive threats.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll see if that plays out. I hope you're right about the 5-6-0 thing, but
I hope I'm
we'll
not.
see. We'll see. But thanks so much, guys, for watching. Make sure you do subscribe to me down below. Make sure you check out all of Ollie's stuff on TikTok. It's great
Thank you.
content. And we will catch you guys later at the Cherries.